Welcome back to our channel where we're trying to empower small businesses to thrive in the digital age. Today we have something really exciting we're going to talk about, which is artificial intelligence, the advantages, disadvantages, and how you can leverage that for your small business. So we're going to dive headfirst into the world of AI and explore how it can make your business more efficient with your marketing, your emails, PowerPoint, all the things. So my name is Jordan Nip, and I am the Sales and Operations Manager at Digital Minds International, and this is Michael Bush, our owner. And so what is AI and ChatGPT? You know, we are seeing this blow up everywhere. Can you kind of, let's dive into that first.
Well, thank you, Jordan. Great to be here today. You can't go anywhere on the internet now without seeing things about AI. Actually, AI, artificial intelligence, or large language models, LLM, has been around for quite some time. And you know, back in the late 60s, they started doing early development on those things. It's been what we've heard the most about is ChatGPT, but if you go look around, you're going to see, you know, there's probably 40, 50 out there now that are using some variation of a large language model or a language model. And so that's kind of the high level, somewhat technical way of meaning that. But in essence, what does it mean to a layman? It means that you can ask questions as though you were chatting with a person on the other end in its simplest form, and it is going to give you a response based on what it knows and what data it has acquired. The first release of ChatGPT 3.5 was based on 2022 data, and there was some inaccuracy there, and people were complaining about it. And so now with ChatGPT 4, and most of them, like Google's Bard, is based on what it finds on the internet. So it's more relevant, up-to-date information. So as in a sense, it's a more intelligent search engine. You can use it that way. You can say, hey, I want to go, can you give me all the information related to the country of India and its population, giving all these demographics. In most cases, it's going to come back with that already anticipating what you think you're going to ask. So it's a really great tool to, as I would say, to get you started and get your mind flowing, your juices thinking about, okay, anyway, that's kind of in a nutshell what it is.
Yeah, so I mean, it's using the internet as its reference point. So what's on the internet is what
Right.
It's learned, essentially. So, you know, I mean, there's a lot of advantages with AI. I know some of the things that I've seen it's infiltrated into Canva. Canva will start helping with, they have Magic Write, and it'll help you with that. I think there's like Grammarly, which will help you with your grammar when you've written something, and that's a plug-in into so many. It's kind of infiltrated so many places without you even realizing that AI is there. I mean, I think ChatGPT is king, the buzzword around
Right.
town, because it's free, and you know, I've seen it in Photoshop, which that's kind of crazy how that works, where you can lasso and then tell it what you want to change. I'm trying to think. Canva does have a couple. It has some in beta form on visuals with AI. So those are some of the just places you may software you already use that it's showing up there. Correcting your grammar or fixing photos. And
it's kind of like having that electronic assistant there, just kind of looking over your
Microsoft
shoulder,
Clippy.
helping a clip. Well, I was actually going to reference that because that was the early days of kind of the little, hey, can I assist you with some things, and essentially this is taking it to the next level of intelligence and giving you more capabilities.
Yeah. What are some other advantages that you can see with using AI? I know I've seen there's a lot of programs out there and using ChatGPT, but there's specific ones like Jasper.ai, which are specific marketing. So it's kind of been learned more in the marketing space, writing cold emails and your SEO, your paid ads, scripts, things like that. What are some other ways you've seen it?
Well, I know there's a lot of software developers out there that are using ChatGPT and other generative AI is another term that also that you'll hear. To generate code. So there may be a task that needs to be done, and they will use it to build a module or a subsystem of some software that they need. And then, hey, I need you to create a module for me in Python or in C++ or C# or whatever language you're using. And I'm going to be passing you this information, and I will want X information back out of you, and it will generate code for that. In case in point, even we've got an application that we wrote for doing pasture generation that we've used internally, and it was written in Python. And I went to one of the AIs and gave it all the parameters and it wrote the code for me specifically in Python, and it would work, but not exactly the way we do it, and because there's a limitation within Python for auto-generating words. You essentially have to generate your own, or you can say you can do that separate and then put that in like an array or data dictionary or file, and then pull it in to randomize words. But the point of all that is that if I were a programmer, just the outline of getting that done, I can get those things done a lot faster. I got the basics. You still need to have the core understanding of how to use the coding language and like that, and then also your writing and verbal skills makes a big difference in how you are talking to it, and you're essentially trying to paint a word picture to the AI so it can understand that. The more you can be more descriptive to the AI, the better output you're going to get from it in most cases.
Yeah, that's what I've seen too, is if you just give it a prompt like, write me a cold sales email to follow up on, X. It'll give you something real generic that you can start with. But if you describe your audience, you tell it to learn first before you ask for outputs, you're going to get better. And then as you continue the conversation, it'll get more and more. You can even tell it, write a paragraph yourself and say, learn my writing style. And then it will start generating where it sounds a little more human. I don't think you can take anything just direct. Headlines and things like that, but when it gets longer and longer content, it still needs a human touch to it, or it sounds like a robot.
I agree, and that again, it's great. So if you're, let's say you're a writer or marketer, and you kind of get that writer's block, and hey, I need some ideas on specific content. It's fantastic for that. Fantastic for giving you that start to get going. Is working great, but ultimately that's where your skill in writing the request is, learning those skills of being able to how to ask those questions to the AI is where you would want to focus on it. And as the technology gets better and better, you're going to be able to get more output from it. But right now, developing the skills on how to interact with it is a really key thing there, to work
Yeah,
the
for
most
each
of it.
industry. Yeah, I would agree.
Correct.
I think that that's where we can learn whatever, like you were saying with the software side. Okay, well, learning what gives you better outputs is how you can develop a new skill and that you're able to leverage AI. Like pretty much anybody can use AI, but it's like, how do you understand how to interact with it to get what you want out of it is a really
Right.
big thing. What are some of the
Exactly.
What are some of the
Exactly.
disadvantages that you're seeing?
Well, the main thing that I would caution everyone, and I want to really emphasize this, is the data that you're putting into an AI. There has been, I've been looking, and to date, I haven't seen any information that states that there are petitioning or demarking or blocking off information between users interacting with ChatGPT or other AIs. So what I mean by that is, let's say I'm a company A, and company A goes in and says, "Hey, I want to do some financial modeling based on our current financials over the last 3 years. We have X amount of sales. Here's our net. Here's our cost of goods sold, and then here's our net margins. And based on that, and here's where we're going to do. This is our markets we're going after." You're giving all this internal, competitive, proprietary information to an AI. Then company B comes in and says, "Hey, I want to know what my competitor is doing, or I want to find out about this company." And you start asking the AI, "Hey, company A, what's their gross sales last year?" And they may be a privately held company. You may not know that exactly, but I mean, obviously you can dig these things, but you're making it easy. Then you say, "Hey, what was their net profit last year, month to month, and where's the market's going? What's their ideal candidate that they're going after? Ideal company, their markets." You're getting all this information. That's our concern, and there's a lot of chief information officers in very large companies who are expressing concerns over everybody's excited about interacting, and in this friendliness of being able to chat with something. Everyone likes to chat these days, and you're just giving freely out this information. And so there needs to be a warning and a training within companies to make sure that you're not putting proprietary information into those things. Again, going back to what we were saying, using it to help you get something done faster, giving the outlines and formats and like that. Perfect, great. You're not putting any proprietary information into it. So that would be really a big warning that companies. I mean, we've had companies asked us about it, and that's exactly what I warned them about it. I said, before you would if you want to integrate this into your information systems, I think it's, in a lot of cases, it's a little early until there's declaration of known how this data is being stored, and you can treat, because you can't, as a chief information officer of a company, You can't go find out everything that's been put in there. You don't control it.
Yeah, there's no checks and balances with it.
Right.
Like you
Exactly.
have no idea what your employees have put in there as inputs.
That's correct.
Yeah. So are you seeing, I mean, I guess I'm most familiar with the writing side, which I think is a a really great way to leverage it. So where are you seeing like AI used in are there specific softwares that people are using to do modeling, or is it just plugged in on top of how like ChatGPT is utilized? Or can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, let's say in the technical side, technical support side, where you may go to websites now, you see the little bots that pop up. Where in the past they kind of had their own little bot engine developed there. Those companies are they're linking into ChatGPT and other AIs now, so that you can get more of a human, because we've all experienced those. You go there and it kind of asks you,
Yeah.
you seem like you're going around Murphy's barn back and forth. I've already answered this, and that's the whole point, is just try to improve that customer or client experience. And so that's one of the key areas in support. The other one is interacting or integrating ChatGPT and other ones into your support system for your engineers. So when an engineer gets ready to send out a message, and I'm guilty of it too, we're all trying to respond, and you have misspellings and improper wording. Using ChatGPT to scan that email and say, "Hey, I would recommend you sending it this way because it understands the content and the reason what you're trying to send." So that's one element of it, and the other element is to have it look at the whole ticket. But again, that's the area that I'm warning people about, to be careful, because once you start exposing it to other company information, if you're sending, links to specific internal proprietary systems and those type of things. So we got to be careful about that. Say day-to-day business. We mentioned, we may have mentioned something earlier, but there's a company out there called Beautiful.ai, which would allow you to use AI to develop a PowerPoint presentation. Now, that's a specific, and that would probably work well for a C-level person or someone who's generating a lot of this. But you can actually go to ChatGPT right now and say, develop me a slide presentation, giving it all the details that you're wanting to present to them, to your audience, and say, write it in Python code or specific code. You can say PowerShell if you wanted to, and it will generate that code, because right now it's really kind of more generating a textual type output. You could copy that and then run it, and it would actually, running that code will generate you a PowerPoint file that you can bring into PowerPoint. So again, being able to describe exactly what you want. So again, kind of some forethought and thinking, okay, kind of write it out on a piece of paper, then you telling the AI. A lot of this is like delegating responsibility to a subordinate in a company.
Yeah.
You say, hey, I need you to go do this for me, and here's the parameters, and here's what I expect back from you. Think of it that way.
Yes. Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it, because you have, it's almost like, like you said, an assistant who can give you what you want, but you got to tell it exactly what you want.
Exactly.
I mean, that is just the biggest thing with it, learning that skill. Yeah, I think that on your administrative, marketing, sales. I mean, I know there's plugins into LinkedIn. There's companies for LinkedIn too that will craft messages that will also give you. I can't remember the name of it. I've seen it recently. That will craft messages. Will also alert you when people you follow make posts, and will write posts that are better than congratulations, or good job on it. That'll craft a more personalized message on there. So there, I mean, I think in your admin, your marketing, and sales, there's huge leverage in there.
Right.
But you got to know the inputs, and it still takes a human touch to it. It'll get you started, but you can't send it just as is. Maybe when you ask for an email headline or headlines, some little short sentence, it's great for that. Or you can tell it to rewrite something you've written to where it flows better. I've seen that, and that works really well. And you also can tell it the tone you want when writing, and to learn your tone. Within Jasper.ai, you can have it scan your website, and you save it, or any website, if somebody's running multiple people on there, and say, learn my tone from this. And then it will start to write. So it's trying to keep a seamless, say you want to write warm and friendly, or you want to write informative, or what, you got to know the word to describe it. So it's almost putting those English language skills. You got to be
Right.
you got to be
Right.
good at them. You got to be good at
Exactly.
describing stuff, which in engineers, we love the bullet points, so it kind of helps us flesh out those
Right.
things a little bit. Got to tap into those adjectives and adverbs.
Yeah. So you mentioned the market. So in obviously in marketing, and even in the technology world, when you have vast amount of data that you have to deal with, this is another example of using AI. I was talking to a person in the military where they were doing recon work and bringing things back. They'd have to have a translator look at the information, all the recording like that. That would take weeks. You can take the same thing with AI, and military is using the AI now themselves to analyze that and translate it, and you're talking hours or minutes now. The same is true with marketing data. If you've got all these statistics that you've got in your specific market verticals, and you can have the AI go through and parse that information out and then present it to you in various ways. So anytime you have a vast amount of data coming at you, also in the cybersecurity world, so if your AI has been used for many years in that already, because the attacks are getting so much faster, and the data is coming so much faster. Humans cannot keep up, to be honest with you, with the amount and how fast the attacks are and the volume of them. So that's where the AI is. It's seeing early profiling of this. These are the attributes of an attack, and you can say start doing certain things based on, or warn someone of this, or start blocking certain things then too. So that's where you can empower using AI, doing it based on the information it's seeing from the attack. So vast amount of data is a really great way of using AI. So if your company is using, having to sift through all this data, and is taking a lot of people to do that, you can optimize a lot of that by letting, first start getting to know how the AI is going to work and getting to learn it, and then you can become more efficient at it that way.
Yeah. Some of those more menial tasks, sorting
Yes.
through Sorting through data. Yeah, that's a great just category for it. Sorting through a lot of data. Yeah. So, I think what we've discussed here, all the advantages, sorting through data, your marketing, giving you ideas, brainstorming when you're writer's block, visual tasks, in that realm, converting software code, writing code, like these are all great ways that it can, even proposal outlines. That's one I've seen, hey, I need to write a proposal on this. Can you, and it'll give a skeleton, but you gotta, you obviously have to input the actual human part and leverage of why your company, but it can give you an outline to get started. So you're not starting on a blank page. I think that's the great way. Help you to just have something to go. And so you just fill in the blanks then after that, as opposed to just writing everything from scratch.
Policies and procedures in the company. Hey, that would be a simple thing. Hey, what are the current modern policy and procedures for a company in the healthcare field with this type of product sales? And and you just, again, more information you can give it, you can get, and you'd have, obviously you can go grab those from your HR company, whatever like that, but then you can use those, you can think outside the box with it.
Yeah. Now, the outlining is fantastic in it. Or for, you can tell to input for, content ideas that you're putting out. Hey, give me 10 ideas on this to, 10 video ideas or whatever. Write me a 10 posts, 10 questions people have about X topic or something that you can go and then answer.
Right. So all what we've just said here, companies need to be careful because of the way the information is being acquired. So just as the example I just gave earlier about writing policy procedures in healthcare like that, and things, because of the way the AI is learning, it's going out the internet. So if it's getting things that may have learned that may be proprietary or copyrighted, guess what? You could be opening your company up to some potential liability. So with anything, you need to check the copywriting on it, and you need to have everything reviewed by legal before posting these things, because you could be opening your company up to litigation.
Yeah, for sure. Those are all great caveats to have, and warnings to be aware of. So, we see, I guess people with, I guess another thing is like supply chain logistics, your, that's another one too that it could be utilized for. But yeah. So I think, we've discussed a lot of the advantages, ways it can be leveraged for your business. Definitely in the admin, writing, where there's a lot of writing, a lot of time spent to cut down that time. Yes. It still doesn't replace a person, but it cuts down that time where that person can output more, because they're not having to spend so much time on all that, leveraging in sales, automating those tasks where the Grammarly's, the in your chat bots, checking your writing, making sure there's no grievous errors, or hey, maybe you could rewrite this a different way. But you even see that in Microsoft Word, and good old Clippy, R.I.P. in there. He was the original little assistant in there. So. Do you have any other final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Well, I think the proverbial genie is out of the bottle here. In this case, AI is here. It's been around for a while. It's just marketing is really promoting it well. I think the adoption of AI, and from all the stats that are out there, it took 5 days to get to 1 million users, and ChatGPT when it was released. As you compare that to other things, there's nothing anywhere close to that. So,
Yeah.
users companies are wanting something very similar to this. They see the potential of it. So ignoring this it's not going to make it go away. Sticking your head in the sand. So you need to get up to date and understand how you can leverage it. It's not. You can't apply it. You say, "Hey, I want to run my company." We're not there. So,
Yeah.
hey, I want to. I'm going to replace 20 people with this. No, it's not going to happen. At this point in time, based on how early development is, you can think of it. I've used the analogy of we used to have a toddler who has been early speaking and like that, and now we've got a teenager that is able to drive a car now and do things, but it doesn't have the maturity of an adult. And a lot of things. So it has got some time to learn, and the technology is going to advance, but it's not going to go away. You need to embrace it and see how you can leverage it in your company.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. If you liked this content today, please subscribe. We hope to continue to empower your business to leverage technology, and we are here to help. So subscribe to our channel and like this video. Thank you.
Thank you.